Hi, my name is Autumn Wintersgill from Knitting in the Red, and today we're going to talk about how to knit a lacy scarf. The first and simplest way to knit a lacy scarf is to use drop stitches. The way that we do this is we have base or foundation rows of knitting, and wherever we want the lacy portion to be, we're going to insert the needle into the stitch and wrap the yarn around twice. Then we're going to pull those two loops through the stitch. So we're just knitting, wrapping the yarn twice for each stitch. And on the next row, we're going to drop the stitches that we made here. So I'm going to turn quickly and show you how this is done. When you're knitting these stitches, you're going to treat these two loops as just one loop or one stitch. So knitting back through, you're going to drop the second loop off the needle, and that is going to make your drop stitches. Another very simple way to create lace patterns that is a bit more difficult than the drop stitch pattern that we just discussed is to use yarn overs along with a decrease. So I'm going to knit two stitches together at the beginning of my row. So instead of just going through one stitch, I'm going to go through two stitches the same way that I'm knitting a stitch. Then wrapping the yarn only once and pulling it through and sliding it off the needle. And then I'm going to yarn over, which is just wrapping the yarn around the right needle. So it's in the back to knit, and I'm going to wrap it around the front and back to the back. And I just leave that there on my needle. So I'm going to repeat this, making a yarn over, and then knitting two stitches together all the way across the row, and we're going to see the pattern that creates in just a minute. And now that you've done the first row of the pattern, you will turn your work and you will purl across these stitches. So there is going to be a right side, which you just did, and a wrong side, which we're doing now with the purl stitches. So to purl, we're going to hold the yarn in the front of our work and go into the stitch from right to left, wrapping and pulling to the back. And now in this row, we can see what the knit two togethers and the yarn overs look like. We have very distinct knit two together stitches and very distinct holes that are made by the yarn overs. Again, my name is Autumn Wintersgill from Knitting in the Red, and you just learned how to knit a lacy scarf.